everyone, welcome back to the Vengeful Empire show. And today we are running a heroic star fortress, and I'm just going to use this opportunity to talk a little bit about operative healing and show off this beautiful level 50 companion I got. So let's get into this. With me today is Sint, though he's not in Discord with us. So for a lot of this, I'm actually going just to do some random like DPS because it's just kind of trash pulls that you don't need anything for. Until then, though, so let's talk about some basic healing or de-healing abilities as an operative. You can, from my setup, you'll find them along this top bar here and down here. So most basic and also probably most important are your culto probes. You want these up on your tanks at all times. They should not fall off your tanks. If you have a DPS that likes to pull or pulls aggro a lot, then you should probably throw them up on them too. You want to have 2 stacks of these and not just 1, because at 2 stacks you can use surgical probe to refresh the duration. Surgical probe is the next ability, just kind of a quick light heal and good for topping people off and refreshing the culto probes. It also leaves a buff down here for 6 seconds that increases healing done. So important to use that every once in a while. Next up on the list, we have Culto Infusion. This is one of your biggest heals. I don't know if it's the biggest or if it's the second biggest next to Culto Injection. But Culto Infusion is your channel big up front heal and heal over time as well. It does require tactical advantage, so just get that and cast that. As you can see there, hit for 9k up front and another like 4k over time. So definitely one of your bigger heals and your most important hot of course standing for heal over time. And as an operative, you are entirely based on hot healing, so it's like think dots just in heals. So you want to have as many heals ticking on your target or tank over time as possible. So next up we have Culto Injection. This is your big upfront heal that with a set bonus gets its auto crit, and I believe it is the 2-piece set bonus. Yeah, so 2-piece set bonus gives that an auto crit, and you want to use that A on an instacast when you hit stim boost, which I think you need a utility for. Maybe not. Okay, so yeah, in heal spec, using stim boost allows you to insta-cast Culto Infusion or Culto Injection. So if your tank takes a large burst of damage, then I actually like to use it on Culto Infusion sometimes, but if you're just hitting hard up front, go ahead and use it on a Culto Injection. Also for other big heals or just kind of fillers or pre-casting, stuff like that, is when you want to use Culto Injection. If basically between refreshing your dots, AoEing the group, kind of your main single target base ability, in other words. Next up we have your Toxic Scan. This is your cleanse. This is important for both PvE and PvP. Not a lot of people use cleanses in PvP, but if you're versing a team with lots of dot compositions, then cleansing your friendlies can actually make a huge difference on the outcome of a match. And while your healing doesn't look good at the end, maybe you definitely prevent a lot of damage going out by using your cleanse. Cleansing is also important for operation mechanics. Next up we have Diagnostic Scan. Diagnostic Scan is great for a couple of things. First off, energy regeneration. Diagnostic scan when it crits, and it has a pretty high crit chance. Now, don't remember what it is off the top of my head. But when it crits, it restores energy, which means you can heal while it's restoring your energy, which is a great ability and a great trait of the Operative. So, you know, here I am low on energy, I can just cast this, and you can cast it while moving now too, thankfully, and this gets my energy up. It's also great for topping off tanks, DPS, healers, you know, really just anyone. It's a filler ability for topping off, and okay. So great filler ability for topping people off, restoring energy. Just kind of when nothing's happening, you can be channeling that. The next heal on our list is we're finally getting to the AoEs. Another important hot, recuperative nanotech. So recuperative nanotech, I'll just read the description. Heals the target you have selected and then 3 allies with the lowest health within 10 meters. Is it actually? Yeah, so it basically heals 4 people of the lowest health. And it's important hot, you want it ticking on your tanks or in the group if the group is taking damage as general. Recuperative nanotech also applies a couple of buffs. Trying to sort through the Star Fortress ones. I think it provides invigorated, which is healing received. Where are we going now? Yeah, so let's see. So that's the actual dot heal, and then invigorated healing received increase. So another important one to be getting out there. Our last heal, which is my favorite heal, probably in the game actually, is KOTFE waves. This is our massive AoE. I'll read the description after this. So KOTFE waves heals 8 allies within 8 meters for a lot of health. It is a bit energy intensive, as is recuperative nanotech, so you probably want to, you know, manage your energy and use it when you're up a bit higher. Other than that, it's an amazing heal and is great for raid-wide damage going out, and also for just general healing in PvP. So those are our 3, or not 3, but those are our heals. Now, how do we want to use them in different scenarios? So as a healer, you're usually faced with probably 3 different scenarios, or 2 off the top of my head right now. One is AoE raid-wide damage, and one is single target healing. So single target healing, or really both healings, but especially single target, it's all about your heals over time. So you want to put your both probes on your target when they are taking damage or are going to be taking damage, throw a KOTFE infusion on them, and your recuperative nanotech. At this point, depending on what it looks like, you can be hitting surgical probe, you can be using diagnostic scan if they're not taking too much damage, or you can hit a KOTFE injection if things are going bad. There's not really like a rotation per se for healing. It's kind of like what you need, when you need it, and what your energy will allow for. So when I'm down here at, you know, 50% energy or something, I'm probably not going to cast a KOTFE waves, because that's just going to wreck my energy management. Instead, I might try and look for something a bit more suitable that will also fit the situation at hand. What's this? Interesting. Alright. So yeah, you want to keep all your heals over time, as many of them as possible, on the tank or the group. So, you know, you're casting your AoE, you're using your diagnostic scan even, your Colto infusion. When they are taking a lot of damage, you can hit them with a Colto injection followed up by a surgical probe. It's a nice combo which will refresh your increase healing done and also refresh your Colto probes. So now that we have that covered, let's talk a little bit about AoE group healing. Obviously you have your two big AoE heals, Recuperative Nanotech and Colto Waves. Colto Waves you want to place manually, so don't just double click it at the base of a target, place it manually to hit as many people as possible, up to 8, and it'll tick on the 8 lowest people at the moment you start casting. So, you know, just position this and start healing. That's your kind of your base one, your main one you want to use. Throw Recuperative Nanotech on a target in the middle of all the targets you want to heal. And then from there, you can, if you have people that are especially low, go ahead and maybe throw a bigger heal on them. And you can throw out your Colto probes on grade like damage or healers as well. So Colto probes aren't just reserved for your tanks, you can throw them out in your group, and when you do throw them out in your group, try and watch them in your raid frame, and when they get low, go ahead and hit them with a surgical probe to keep those running up on them. You can have like 6 or 7, maybe even 8, I'm not sure, probes continuously ticking at all times. I usually don't have that many running, maybe just 3 or like 4 at most. I usually don't bother to keep them ticking that much and haven't had issues healing in most situations with that. So that pretty much covers all you need to know for healing as a operative. There are definitely some strengths and weaknesses compared to your other healing classes out there. Operatives are by far the greatest AoE healers and can parse incredibly high on raid-wide damage situations. Their single target healing, I believe, is theory crafted to be ranked second behind Sorks. Their usage in PvP is pretty high. You have a lot of survivability thanks to your role, and you can heal and cleanse like your entire PvP ops group in regular war zones pretty effectively. That being said, they are not my preference to use in a ranked match situation, simply because Sorks dominate that field and you have to be able to switch targets and switch focuses like on a dime, and as a operative that's hard to do because you have to get all your hots ticking, and it just doesn't really happen, so I prefer to use the Sork in that situation. Gearing is pretty simple. Go ahead and take, well, nowadays operations, let's see if I have examples here. So here's a Defiant Mender Gloves non-step bonus. That's 216. You want to take that over the 208 gear. And then you want to switch that out for, I'm not even wearing my PVE stuff, your 216 or 220 set bonus gears. And then your 224 set bonus, which I have one of them. Where is it? Here. Your 224 set bonus. So you want to, you know, start with the 208 like vendor stuff, then move on to 216 mender stuff for your class. At this point, next in the like gearing progression would actually be 220 non-set bonus, and then 216 set bonus. I would definitely take the set bonus over the non-set bonus. Here's a great instacast, by the way. That's how that works. So yeah, so take the set bonus before the non-set bonus, which can mean 216 gear over 220 gear. It happens, get used to it. It's not all about the rating on the item. Augments, I can't remember off the top of my head what I'm running, but I would check out the optimal stats for top 20 or all 24 disciplines. I followed that guide. It's like some alacrity and crit. I just don't remember how many of each, like 8 and 6, but I don't remember which ones. So that pretty much covers gearing. Let's look at utilities I have. I take AoE damage reduction because in raiding and PvP, that helps a lot. I'll take the 5% damage reduction. Again, helps a lot in both scenarios. And the flashbang one I took for PvP, probably, or actually, I took this for both, and I'll explain why here in a second. But that one's kind of optional. You might want to play around with that third point you have there. So why did I take flashbang for PvE? You know, that sounds silly, right? You can't flashbang bosses. And here's why. When you are in a hard mode flashpoint or trash pools, stuff like that, even if you can't CC them, well, actually I'm not sure if you can, I haven't really tried. But throwing that out and giving a 20% accuracy bonus on all the targets it hits in a trash pool is a lot of damage reduction for your tank. So in hard mode flashpoints where trash pools, you know, some of them can be kind of tricky, just throw out that flashbang and it'll help your tanks, it'll help your DPS, it'll stop the damage going out by quite a bit. So definitely something you might want to consider if you want to take that. If not, you know, there are other stuff out there, or you know, in that list, you might want to pick another one. Kind of one you can play with. Damage reduction, again, one you can play with. So pretty much all these skillful ones, none of them are all that important. I really like the shield probe, heals you for 5%, just because I spam shield probe all the time and more survivability to me. Cult of Pro on yourself, this one I definitely really like for both PvE and PvP. Reducing or damage reduction is increased by up to 6%. With all the damage reduction utilities I've taken, it all adds up to be quite a bit, and definitely helps with my survival. And surviving's kind of the goal as a healer, isn't it? So those are the utilities I took for there. Heroic utilities, I use Stim Boost a lot for the insta-cast, you know, like this, and then I can insta-cast my heals. So I took that one, and then I also took shield probe damage, just to make the shield probe as good as possible. Other ones, let's see, I haven't looked around in, oh boy, I fell off. Alright, so let's see what else we can play with here. Let's not aggro anything and don't fall off again first though. Not this way. Okay, so, the evasion cooldown reduction one, definitely very useful for PvP. You might want to consider taking that one if you're doing a lot of PvP. Don't really need that. 2 seconds of evasion, wouldn't be my favorite, but like, you know, not the end of the world, you might want to use it. Alright, this one you shouldn't need. Escape. This one you might consider taking more defensive power to you. And Hollow Traverse I have never used since it came out, so that's not a personal favorite of mine. You use it a lot though. I don't see much use for it as a healer, but maybe you do, and props to you then. But wouldn't be on my list of top 10s. So I think that pretty much covers utilities worth mentioning. Let's see, I don't really know much else to talk about as far as healing goes, so I'm going to talk a bit about what I'm doing now, and that's doing damage as a healer. You got Carbon Burst, which is kind of weak, but can be fun. Looks good in videos. Frag Grenade, just, you know, greatest ability in game, right? And you got your Rifle Shot, your Corrosive Dart, and your Backstab. If you're in an operation and your ops group is, you know, like only just missing the cutoff and it's enraging, then definitely throw your corrosive dart up there and get that ticking on the boss. That can be very useful, and over the course of a boss fight can add up to quite a bit of damage. Oh, and then you just got your backstabs, your overload shot, your shiv, stuff like that. Unfortunately, if you go healing as an operative, you don't have a lot of damage opportunities. That's one thing I liked about Sorks with Force Lightning, Shock, Crushing Darkness, and stuff. But as an operative, you don't really get that liberty, so oh well. Your raid buff is down here. Tactical superiority, snipers do not have it, so if you are in a raid, it is up to you to pop it, most likely, because I don't know anyone who does DPS as an operative. It's just not that strong for PvE right now. Other things to mention, your combat res, I guess I forgot that. Use that, you know, kind of have it planned out with your group when you want to use that. Don't just use it on the first person that dies. So, you know, think that one through before you just go out there rezzing everyone. You also have stealth. Oh yeah, there's something. You should start boss fights off by throwing your probes on the tanks and then stealthing, and then once the fight starts, pop out of stealth and you got tactical advantage, your probes are already ticking, and you are all set to go. You might want to start your first heal as a surgical probe and then maybe a Culto Infusion to get all the bonuses up that you want, and then a recuperative nanotech, just to get all your hots ticking and your your big buffs, I guess that's what we'll call them, for lack of a better name. Your like 40-second, 6-second ones. I guess 6 seconds isn't all that big, but you get the idea. So start fighting stealth. Stealth in PvP, you want to, you know, just stealth out if you need to keep yourself alive if it's going bad. Maybe give yourself the chance to get some people off of you. And after that, clicking screen is also more important than your combat res, in my opinion, because you can stealth res people both in PvP and in PVE. In operations, it is incredibly useful. You can revive everyone once every 2 minutes. Now, there's something important to remember about this. You do not want any dots or hots ticking at all, really either of them. So make sure your corrosive dart is not on the boss. Make sure all your Culto probes have run out for everyone in the ops group, and make sure that all of your recuperative nanotech and Culto Infusion, I think that's it. Make sure none of that is ticking on anyone. If it is still ticking on someone, it will pull you out of combat, or into combat, and then you cannot revive someone. So in an operation, if you want to pull off the stealth res, you know, you should probably be in voice comms with people, or, you know, just typing it out if you want to. And just mention, you know, like, I'm going to go stealth res this guy. So the other healers don't waste a combat res on it. You can let your hots tick out. It'll make it a bit harder for the other healers because you'll basically won't be doing any healing for 10 seconds or so. Let everything run out. Pop clicking screen. Be careful not to get hit by any AoEs or mechanics, and then you can go revive them and hop right back into the fight. So definitely very important, but I kind of caught that there at the end. Other things worth mentioning, your roll is amazing for avoiding damage, both resisting it, like of channels, and rolling out of circles and stuff like that. That's really about it for this class, or spec at least. It's my favorite class to heal as. I really enjoy it. I don't feel quite as overpowered, and it's a bit more engaging than playing a Sork. And I love the Culto Infusion and stuff. I mean, who doesn't love this ability? So definitely a class I would check out. Definitely one I would play. / do play. This is currently my main raiding tune. Yeah, I don't really have anything negative to say about it. People say that it's like you can't kill a single target. You can, it is just kind of difficult. So get those hops up and you can do it. My only complaint about it would be it's like difficulty to play in ranked PvP. But you know, you can't be good at everything. So that's that, and looks like we're done right in time with the Star Fortress, so hope you all kind of enjoyed that, and thanks for joining us, and see you next time.